Have you ever stood at the checkout, staring at your cart, wondering how the total got so high? You came for toothpaste, and now you're walking out with $112 worth of stuff you didn't plan to buy. Here's the thing, it's not your fault. Well, not entirely. Because long before you took that product off the shelf, someone was already playing with your mind. They know how you think. They know what triggers you. And they've turned your brain into a playground for profit. Let's start with something simple. Why do stores pump out the smell of fresh bread near the entrance? It's not accidental. That scent. It triggers comfort, safety, home. And suddenly, your defenses are down. You spend more. But it goes deeper. Much deeper. Imagine this, you see a toaster listed at $99. But then you see it on sale for $39. Instantly, you feel like you're winning. You just saved $60, right? Not exactly. That original price. It was never meant to sell. It was an anchor. A psychological trick to make the second price feel like a steal. And guess what? It works. Almost every time. This isn't just about toasters. It's the same with clothing, electronics, even online subscriptions. You're not choosing with logic. You're reacting to cues, emotional, invisible cues planted there on purpose. Welcome to the psychology of money. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a man named Dan. Smart guy. Engineer. Good job. But every month, he found himself wondering, where did all my money go? One day, he decided to track every dollar. What he found was shocking. Most of his spending wasn't on needs. It was on dopamine. A coffee here. A gadget there. He wasn't buying things. He was buying feelings. And so are you. You don't spend to own. You spend to feel. Power. Control. Status. Belonging. Relief. The money leaves your hand, but it's never just for the thing itself. There's always a story in your head. A narrative that justifies it. And those stories, they are planted. Think about loyalty programs. Punch cards. Points. Levels. These aren't just rewards. They are gamified hooks. They give your brain tiny hits of pleasure. Progress. Completion. A sense of rising status. It's why you go back to the same coffee shop 10 times just to get a free latte that costs less than your Uber ride. Let's take it further. Ever notice how some buttons on apps are bright and glowing, while others are dull? That's not just design. That's behavioral engineering. They want you to click, to subscribe, to upgrade. And they'll use every tool in the psychological arsenal to make it irresistible. One major weapon. Scarcity. Limited time only. Only 3 left in stock. You've seen it. You felt it. The fear of missing out is so strong, it can override logic entirely. Suddenly, you have to buy it. And if you don't, you feel like you lost something, even though you never had it to begin with. Now, picture a casino. No clocks. No windows. Bright lights. Ding ding ding. It's not chaos. It's a carefully controlled environment designed to detach you from time and money. You stay longer. You spend more. And now, e-commerce has adopted the same tactics. Flash sales. Countdown timers. Rewards for just browsing. Here's a curveball, free shipping. It sounds generous, right? But studies show people will spend more just to qualify. You might need a $3 item. But you end up spending $25 to get free shipping worth $5. The math doesn't check out, but the psychology does. You feel like you're avoiding a loss. Loss aversion is powerful. Humans would do more to avoid losing than to gain something equal. We haven't even touched on social proof yet. Most popular. Top rated. bestseller. Even if you don't trust marketing, you trust the crowd. So when you see that little badge, your brain takes a shortcut. If others like it, it must be good. But here's the twist, those ratings. Not always organic. Some are nudged, manipulated, or outright fake. And let's not forget the influencers. They are not just promoting products, they are shaping lifestyles. When someone you admire casually holds a $200 water bottle, you feel a pang. A tiny whisper, maybe you'd feel that good if you had it too. That's not product placement. That's emotional hijacking. All this leads to a bigger question. If your spending is shaped by invisible forces, how much of your financial life is really in your control? Are you the shopper, or are you the product? Let's pause. Because this isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Once you see the tricks, you can't unsee them. You begin to ask better questions. You start noticing when something feels urgent, but isn't. When something feels like a deal, but isn't. You catch the manipulation before it sinks its teeth in. Dan, the guy I mentioned earlier, he made a rule. One simple rule: delay every non-essential purchase by 24 hours. That one habit cut his emotional spending in half. Not because it was hard, but because time gave him clarity. The space between want and action, that's where your power lives. Another strategy. Turn off retail notifications. Yes, all of them. You don't need a brand to tell you when to shop. That's like letting a fox guard the hen house. Take back control of your triggers. Also, ask yourself, what feeling am I buying? It's a powerful question. You'll start to see the real driver behind the purchase. And often, you realize, there's a cheaper way to get that feeling. Maybe it's not about the new shoes. Maybe it's about confidence. Maybe it's not the gadget, it's your desire to feel productive. And once you identify that emotion, you can find other ways to meet that need. Healthier ways. Smarter ways. You see, money isn't just numbers. It's psychological, emotional, even philosophical. Every dollar you spend is a vote. Not just for a company, but for the kind of person you think you are, or want to be. When you spend consciously, you begin to reclaim that identity. You become less reactive, more intentional. And that's where real freedom starts. Not with budgeting apps or complicated spreadsheets, but with awareness. We live in a world built to make you consume without thinking. But you are capable of seeing through the fog. You can choose differently. Every swipe, every tap, every click, it's a moment of decision. A chance to rewrite the script. Here's what I hope you remember: you're not bad with money. You're just being played by people who are very, very good at getting yours. But now you know their game. Play your own. Subscribe for more insight that helps you reclaim control, one decision at a time.